Why should anyone still read Don Quixote? Because the famous joke about windmills is only the doorway. Cervantes gives us a man who mistakes ordinary things for heroic adventures, and then quietly asks whether a world without imagination might be its own kind of madness. Don Quixote has read so many tales of knights that he decides to become one. He renames himself, chooses armor, invents a noble purpose, and rides out with Sancho Panza beside him. The comedy comes from the gap between his grand language and the stubborn reality in front of him. But the novel is not just laughing at him. Don Quixote is ridiculous, yet he is also loyal, brave, and strangely moving. He wants the world to contain justice, courage, and wonder. His problem is not only that he sees giants, it is that he refuses to accept a world with no giants at all. Sancho Panza makes the story richer. He is practical, hungry, skeptical, and funny. But he also begins to participate in the dream. The pair becomes one of literature's great partnerships: idealism and common sense, fantasy and appetite, poetry and proverb, riding down the same road. Cervantes also plays with the act of storytelling itself. The book knows it is a book. It mocks old romances while becoming a new kind of novel. It asks how stories shape identity, how readers imitate what they love, and how fiction can be both foolish and necessary. That is why Don Quixote can feel comic and sad at the same time. When he fails, we laugh. When he keeps believing, we hesitate. The novel makes us ask whether growing up means seeing the world clearly or losing the courage to imagine it differently. Don Quixote still matters because everyone lives partly inside a story. We choose roles, chase ideals, misunderstand signs, and defend private dreams. Cervantes does not simply say that fantasy is false. He asks how much reality a person can bear without some dream to ride toward. The book also matters because it arrives at a turning point in fiction. Cervantes is looking backward at chivalric romance and forward toward the modern novel. Don Quixote reads old heroic stories so intensely that he tries to live inside them, and the result is both parody and invention. That makes the novel a story about readers. It asks what books do to us. Do they mislead us, educate us, protect us from boredom, or make reality harder to accept? Don Quixote is foolish because he believes too much, but the world around him can look foolish because it believes too little. The comedy works because Cervantes lets the same event hold two meanings. A windmill is only a windmill, and also for Don Quixote, a chance to become heroic. The gap between those meanings creates laughter, but it also creates tenderness. The reader sees the error and the longing at once. In that sense, Don Quixote is not simply a book about delusion. It is a book about the human need for meaning. Modern audiences still understand that need. We still turn life into stories, choose identities, and chase ideals that may look absurd from the outside. This video is supported by Bookspace, a place for people who love books to discover new titles, notes, and readers with similar taste. The link is in the description.